All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about something really important. What's the difference between a brand that just sells stuff and a brand that people truly believe in? And the answer isn't about buzzwords. It's about building your brand on authentic values that attract a real community, not just a list of customers. So, let's get into it. And this right here is the core of the problem. You've seen it 1,000 times, right? Websites that claim their values are things like quality, integrity, or innovation. They're just empty words. They sound nice, but they do absolutely nothing to build real trust with the people you're trying to connect with. Just look at the night and day difference on this slide. On one side, you have that generic corporate jargon. On the other, you have a real belief. Age appropriately, not aggressively. Now, that's not just a clever tagline. That simple phrase acts like a filter. It tells you exactly who your ideal client is and, maybe more importantly, who isn't. That's what a real value does. Okay, so first things first, let's really dig into why these generic values just completely fall flat. Because once you understand the problem, building a real solution becomes so much easier. And this brings us to the most important mindset shift you can make. Real, powerful values are not marketing slogans you cooked up in a meeting. They are deeply held beliefs. They're the hills you're willing to die on, professionally speaking, for decades, even when it's not the popular thing to do. So here's the definition we're going to use. A value is only real if it has teeth. It's a core principle you're actually willing to defend, even if it means turning away business or losing out on some short-term cash. Taking a small hit now for a long-term principle, that's the ultimate litmus test for authenticity. So I want you to keep this question in the back of your mind as we go through this. Don't think about what sounds good or what you think your customers want to hear. What do you and your business genuinely stand for? Okay, let's look at a real-world example of this in action. There's a clinic in Beverly Hills that truly lives by that age-appropriately belief. So what does that mean? It means they actually turn away younger patients who want excessive amounts of preventative Botox. Now, yeah, they lose that one patient's business in the short term, but what do they gain? A rock-solid reputation for integrity and a loyal following of clients who trust them completely because they know the clinic has their best interest at heart. Okay, so let's say you've figured out your core beliefs. That's awesome. But honestly, beliefs are pretty useless if they just live on a piece of paper. You need a system to bring them to life. So how do we make them operational? Let's build that system. Here's the thing. You can't value everything at the same time. There will be conflicts. You need a hierarchy, a pecking order. Take this London clinic, for example. Their order is crystal clear. Safety first, then natural aesthetics, and only then patient satisfaction. So if a patient asks for something that goes against the clinic's standard of natural, this ranking system makes the decision for them. Safety and aesthetics win. Period. No debate. The next step is to separate your why from your how. Think of it like this. Your why is the promise you make to your customer. It's the destination. Your how is the specific, non-negotiable set of directions your team follows every single day to get them there. This simple separation makes your values concrete, tangible, and, really importantly, trainable for your whole team. And this, right here, is where so many businesses get it wrong. They say something like, "We value education." They slap that word on their about page and call it a day. But what does that even mean? It's completely meaningless until you turn it into a real, tangible experience for your customer. But this is what it looks like to actually live that value. A clinic in Sydney, instead of just talking about education, hands patients an empty syringe so they can physically feel and see what 1 milliliter of product actually looks like. It's tangible, it's memorable, and it demonstrates their value far better than any mission statement ever could. Now, when you start getting all of this right, something pretty amazing starts to happen. You stop just having customers who buy from you, and you start building a real, genuine community of people who believe what you believe. Take this clinic in Seattle. They decided to build their entire brand around serving athletes. Everything they do is tailored to an active lifestyle, from scheduling treatments around training cycles to developing recovery-friendly protocols. And the craziest part? The patients felt such a strong connection that they went and started their own private Facebook group to share their experiences. The brand didn't have to create the community, their values did it for them. So here's a really powerful little exercise for you. Try to finish this sentence for your own business. Our brand is for people who believe, and then fill in the blank. This isn't about creating a marketing tagline, it's about writing a manifesto.
It forces you to declare who you're for and what you all stand for together. All right, we've talked a lot about the what and the why. Now let's get down to brass tacks with a clear 5-step blueprint you can actually use to build this for yourself, starting as soon as this is over. So here's the roadmap. First, you map out your honest beliefs. Then, you find where those beliefs fill a gap in the market. Third, you build your operational system, your why, your how, and that all-important ranking. Fourth, you design the customer experience around those values. And finally, you activate it everywhere in everything you do. Now that might look simple on a slide, but trust me, every single one of these steps is critical. To make it super clear, let's walk through it with an example. So let's meet our example, Dr. Sarah from Austin. For step 1, she doesn't write down generic stuff. She lists her honest, maybe even unpopular opinions. Things like, most patients need less treatment than they think. These aren't just feel-good statements, they're actually a bit controversial, which is what makes them so powerful. They form the foundation of a brand that nobody else can copy, because it's genuinely hers. Moving to step 3, she builds her system. She has a clear why, to help her patients age gracefully on their own terms. She has specific hows, behaviors like medical honesty and long-term thinking. But look at the bottom of that slide. That ranking is the real magic here. Safety comes before natural results, which comes before patient demands, which comes before revenue. That ranking is her North Star for every tough decision. Okay, so this is where the rubber really meets the road. In step 4, Dr. Sarah designs experiences that bring her values to life. That future-face discussion, that's her long-term thinking value in action. Taking photos from 10 feet away, not just an inch from the face, that proves her commitment to natural results. And that pause button she offers patients mid-treatment, that's an incredible symbol of trust. She's not just saying it, she's doing it. So what's the payoff for all this hard work? For turning away business and taking the long road? Is it worth it? Well, how about an 85% patient retention rate? Let that sink in for a second. That number is proof that when you build your business on a foundation of trust and real values, you create a kind of loyalty that no amount of advertising can buy. Now, as you start building this for yourself, you've got to watch out for a few common traps. These are total credibility killers. If you claim to have 7 or more values, you really have none. Don't just copy whatever trendy value is popular this year. But the biggest killer of all? Contradiction. Saying you value one thing while your team, your policies, and your actions do the complete opposite. Authenticity is all about consistency. So we're going to end exactly where we started, with the one question that cuts through all the noise. It's not about your logo, your website, or your marketing campaign. It all comes down to this. What do you actually, truly believe? That is your brand. Everything else, it's just tactics.